Apple has got some big secret projects that just leaked. The iPhone 16 is just the beginning of what is coming next. We've got new iPads, Macs, watches, AirPods, and so much more coming way sooner than you thought. And if you decided to scour the internet for what Apple is working on next, well, congratulations, because you just stumbled upon the perfect video. In this video, I'm breaking down the top 15 or so secret projects and products coming next from Apple. Let me lay out the path of what Apple's working on for the rest of 2024, what is coming in 2025, and the good news and the bad news that Apple fans need to know right now. And also a huge thanks to Ethos for sponsoring this video. Okay, so there's a couple of surprises I'll get to in a moment, but by and large, the rest of 2024 is gonna be fairly predictable on the Apple side because of the big move with Apple Intelligence and all the iOS 18 features that has really taken a lot of the resources away from other Apple hardware projects. So for the remainder of the year, expect not the unexpected, but the expected. I've already covered the iPhone 16 lineup extensively on this channel. There's a couple of videos I'll link to down below if you wanna check those out, but iPhone 16 will be here, new Apple Watch Series 10, Apple Watch Ultra 3, and then some other surprises I'll get more into in a moment, but that's basically it. We really won't see a big ramp up with exciting updates until 2025. First up, let's talk AirPods, because this is a product category that Apple has sort of made a name for itself for. They have showed that this could be super successful, and over the next year or so, we should be getting some pretty exciting upgrades to all AirPods models that'll finally make them way more worthwhile in 2024 and 2025 and beyond, at least for most of them. Starting first with some budget AirPods, Apple is expected to basically release a stripped down version of AirPods version 3. That should be coming around the $100 price point sometime this year. And with that move of Gen 3, Apple's gonna replace those sort of in the mid-tier with AirPods Gen 4. These are actually going to, according to rumors, adopt an AirPods Pro-like design. And also, for the first time on non-Pro AirPods, Apple is bringing active noise cancellation to their mid-tier AirPods offering. So basically, like the middle-of-the-road AirPods, just got a whole lot better, will be getting better soon with this Generation 4 update. Which leads to sort of the obvious question, if regular AirPods are getting active noise cancellation and the new sort of Pro design, where does that leave AirPods Pro Gen 3? Well, we're hearing right now that one of Apple's big potential moves is to make AirPods Pro more like an Apple Watch in your ears, that the company might be working to bring a lot of the fitness tracking features of Apple Watch into the AirPods Pro buds themselves. So not only could you listen to music and have the different noise cancellation levels with AirPods Pro, but potentially you could track your workouts and maybe even other vitals and stats without having an Apple Watch on your wrist, but just AirPods in your ears as you worked out. And then also, if we could get some colors for AirPods Pro, like we've got on AirPods Max. And speaking of AirPods Max, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. Good news is that we should be getting a new version of AirPods Max sometime before the end of the year. So if you want to buy a new pair, I'd probably would wait a little bit because a new version is coming. But also, with that said, bad news is that according to all the leaks, there's really not going to be any major changes to AirPods Max version 2, even though it's been probably about 4 years when we get the new version from when the original models debuted back in 2020. Now, this should probably go without saying, but just to state the obvious here, you gotta take all these Apple rumors with a major grain of salt because things can change, as we know, just like that. That also is true for our lives as well. I've got a 2.5-year-old at home, I have my wife, and as unhappy as it is to think about or talk about, I want to be prepared in the event that something unforeseen was to happen to me. That's why personally, life insurance has been on my mind lately, especially since beneficiaries can use that money for everyday things, covering the mortgage, tuition expenses, just anything and everything that life is gonna throw your way. That's why I'm super excited to tell you about Ethos, who's sponsoring this portion of the video to show you just how easy it is getting life insurance coverage these days, thanks to the incredible work they're doing. It no longer requires a bunch of time and waiting around and filling out forms and mailing in things and none of that stuff. Ethos is taking all the hassle out of this process. They get you coverage in minutes, not weeks, and you can do it seamlessly and really easily, all from the comfort of your home or your chair or really just wherever you're watching this video. And getting started here is super simple. You can just click the link right down below or scan the QR code on screen, whichever is easiest, and you just answer a few simple health questions. There are no medical exams or blood tests you've got to do, and just within a few simple minutes here and a couple of clicks, you can get coverage of up to $2 million. I just love that Ethos is making this process so simple, so easy, so streamlined, and just stress-free in 2024. I love that I can have this peace of mind with life insurance and focus on my family and not fret the finances. So if you want to learn more, check it out for yourself today and get a totally free life insurance quote in like a couple of simple clicks, and check out Ethos for yourself. Hit the link down below, scan the QR code on screen, and you can get covered in 10 minutes or less. So again, learn more, check it out for yourself today at the link right down below. All right, next up, let's talk iPad, because this is where things get a little controversial as well. Now, at Apple's credit, we do have some great iPad hardware these days. iPad Pro's got the M4 and the impossibly thin design. We've got new iPad Air versions as well. But again, I think what many would say, and I agree with the sentiment, is that iPad is not a hardware issue, but it's severely held back by its software. Apple needs to radically do something different with iPad OS, which they just haven't yet. So as of now, basically the software is sort of as good as it's gonna get, but we should be getting some updates here with hardware. One iPad that might be getting a slight bump is with the regular iPad. So instead of iPad 10th gen, we get iPad 11th gen. This is like the base iPad. Don't expect anything crazy here since we just got a pretty big redesign not too long ago. But one of the good things about this iPad is that the deals on this thing just do not stop. So even if Apple updates this to the 11th gen and they give a slight processor bump, hopefully that brings the price down of the 10th gen and sort of the second tier market and the deals market, which would make this an even better deal. Then the iPad mini, can you believe the iPad mini hasn't been updated since the fall of 2021? So we're going on 3 years since the iPad mini's debut and last update. And while this is expected to be getting some hardware tweaks, hopefully this year, nothing here is gonna be significant. Likely a processor bump internally, probably a bump to the camera as well, maybe some slight tweaks to the display to sort of correct the jelly scrolling issues, but that's sort of it. There's also a couple of like different miscellaneous products Apple continues to work on as well that we should be getting either end of this year or early next year. Two different Apple TVs are sort of on the horizon. One is sort of a cheaper version. Maybe this is the Apple TV stick that we had heard some rumors about a while ago, or just a cheaper version of the box. Remember when Apple used to have a $99 version of the Apple TV? I wonder if that could make its return. That's on the horizon. And then also we've heard that Apple is sort of testing a version of the Apple TV with a built-in camera. I'm not sure if this is a permanent camera. I'm not sure if it sort of pops up or and goes down when needed for privacy's sake. Probably would have some sort of center stage technology built in. Speaking of sort of futuristic products, we've heard for a while that Apple is continuing to work on a HomePod screen mashup sort of device. So think of like the Amazon Echo Show lineup with different speakers and screen combinations. That would be coming to the HomePod family as sort of some new smart display. And then also we've heard that Apple, this is really weird, is experimenting with robots. Some sort of smart home robot assistant, something like maybe, what is the Amazon Astro, maybe something like that. This is sort of weird, but we've heard that Apple is sort of looking into this as potentially being the next big thing. So that's certainly on the horizon and cannot be forgotten. And also what cannot be forgotten is Apple Vision. We know that Apple Vision Pro has seen roadblock after roadblock lately, not probably the tremendous success that Apple was hoping for, but we have heard that they are working right now diligently on a cheaper version of Vision Pro. This would likely be Apple Vision or Vision Air. They would sort of try to eliminate a lot of the bigger cost factors for this headset, so likely the screens might be a little bit less high quality, probably no external OLED display, maybe cheaper cheaper materials, but all in an effort to get the price down to around $1,500-ish. They want to really, we're hearing right now, sort of get this around the price of a Pro iPhone and not the $3,500 price we've got right now. So that's certainly on the horizon and something we could see maybe sometime late next year, if not 2026. But obviously, for the sake of the whole Vision OS ecosystem, the sooner the better for this thing to be successful. Apple really needs to get that budget version out the door. Turning over to the Mac side now, not a whole lot is expected to change here radically over the next couple of months. Before the end of the year, we might be getting some new M4 versions of the MacBook Pro, and then after that, probably some updates to the rest of sort of the M family of Macs, so Mac Mini, iMac, Mac Studio, Mac Pro, likely getting, for the latter two, some higher-end M4 Pro chips. We had heard those rumors a while ago about a larger iMac, like a 32-inch iMac. Those rumors have subsided, so I guess that's not happening. And then also, presumably, we would be getting some updates eventually to Apple Pro Display XDR and the Apple Studio Display. Really great Apple monitors that are not at all inexpensive, but also kind of due for an update since it's been a little bit since those monitors were released, especially Pro Display XDR. So hopefully some updates are in the pipeline for those things. And then finally, as I mentioned earlier, new Apple Watch is coming this year, iPhone 16. Next year, we should be getting an iPhone 17 Slim, which would be cool. And then what likely is going to be one of the most exciting things we've seen in quite some time is a new version of iPhone SE 4. So with that, we'd finally be getting some huge upgrades to the cheapest iPhone. We're talking a 6.1-inch OLED display, Face ID is in, Touch ID is out. We'd be getting potentially a 48-megapixel main camera on the back of the phone, probably an upgraded selfie camera, an action button, and just a way more modern design phone with way more functionality. So if you wanted a better version of the budget iPhone, that should be coming sometime next year with lots of exciting upgrades and hopefully a price tag that will not break the bank. All right, so as always, guys, I'm curious your thoughts on Apple's sort of 2024, 2025 roadmap. What are you most looking forward to? You excited for new AirPods? You want a new version of maybe the MacBook SE? Your thoughts on iPad hardware, Apple Vision Air, Apple Vision Lite? Where do you stand on this? Do you think this stuff is exciting or not? Of course, drop a comment down below and let me know. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for your support. And if you stayed to the very end of the video, let's let the rest of these people clear out. Let's give it a second. If you stay to the very end, drop an Apple emoji in your comment down below. Include an Apple emoji in your comment to let me know you stayed to the very end, and maybe we'll do something fun for you guys. As always, thanks so much for your support. You guys are amazing. I'm Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle, and I'll see you all in the next one.